Let's talk about the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge and what in the heck it means for you. So, if you missed it, the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore was destroyed by a cargo ship that lost power last night. 2 people have been rescued from the water. Crews are searching for others, including 6 construction workers and others who may be in submerged cars under 50 feet of water. And as of Tuesday morning, the 26th, the tide was coming back in, and those efforts were going to become more difficult as the day went on. One of those 2 people who were rescued is currently in critical condition. USA Today reports that this has brought the port of Baltimore, a major port in the United States, to a halt. At least 40 ships are now more or less trapped inside the port. According to Reuters, at least 30 other ships plan to arrive there. They will likely have to reroute shipping to other ports on the East Coast, said Kevin Lindman, a professor and supply chain expert at Pennsylvania State University. However, this will put additional demands on these ports, and shippers may not be able to access U.S. markets as efficiently. One critical question is, can the other ports handle the products that were destined to Baltimore? Here are a few quick stats that I pulled about the importance of the port from the state of Maryland. The port's private and public terminals handled 847,158 automobiles and light trucks in 2023, the most of any U.S. port for the 13th straight year. Talking about supply chain issues with cars, how is that going to affect things? In 2023, the port ranked first in the nation handling automobiles, light trucks, farm and construction machinery, as well as imported sugar and gypsum. The port ranked second in the country for exporting coal. In 2022, the port ranked 6th for importing coffee. Are you starting to understand the scale of the issue here? You thought the car market was going to be a bloodbath, as a certain undesirable person said the other week. Well, put Biden's EPA ban on new gas cars by 2030 to the side, because you haven't seen anything yet. Last year, Maryland Governor Wes Moore praised the port in a press release, noting that it supports 15,300 direct jobs and 140,000 indirect jobs, or indirectly. $3.3 billion in salaries in a state like Maryland, in a city like Baltimore that is struggling, and now the port is shut down. You have $400 million in taxes, and now the port is shut down. Maryland is already facing a massive deficit, and Baltimore makes up a large percentage of Maryland. WBFF Baltimore reports that the estimates show a structural deficit exceeding $1 billion by the end of the decade. It would be $1.8 billion in the 2000 fiscal year, according to that same report. It's not great. At the end of 2024, Maryland is predicted to be in debt. They are going to be in the red, and it's only going to accelerate at the current rate. What happens if the port is shut down? Let's just be optimistic and say 3 months. 3 months, a quarter of a year, that's $100 million in tax revenue that could be lost. If you're extrapolating that out and you're going to a full year, how are things going to change? How much money are they going to lose? How much more is this going to hurt Baltimore and Maryland? In addition, Maryland ranks number 1 in the nation for mortgage debt increase. There's a new study from Wallet Hub that says that Maryland is number 1 in adding the most mortgage debt from quarter 3 of 2023 to quarter 4 of 2023. And as we've reported at Not the Bee, Baltimore, it has some issues. Public urination is literally eroding Baltimore's historic buildings. 0 students at 13 Baltimore high schools were proficient in state math exams. Gangs of teens are stealing cars left and right. Baltimore decided to take aim, like Chicago, at the car manufacturers. So how will the complete shutdown of a port that employs thousands of people affect this city and the state? And once businesses redirect their routes to different ports and work out all the logistics that they have to, how many will actually come back to Baltimore in the years ahead? That's a sobering thought, and it's worth thinking about as we continue in the best economy of all time.